2018 Ford Focus Hatchback Review. The good points of Ford Focus Hatchback: excellent ride and handling, broad array of power plants, staggering speed of RS, generously equipped. The bad points of Ford Focus Hatchback: poor steering feedback, counterintuitive power shift gearbox, seat/slack lateral support. Rivals will be more spacious. As an all-rounder, few cars match the enduring selling point of the Ford Focus Hatchback. There's a version for almost everyone, through the humble 1.0-liter EcoBoost on the brilliant 2.3-liter RS, and perhaps they are all good to push. Watch, all you need to understand the 2018 Ford Focus. Whether you've a family and are also looking for something inexpensive and safe to own, or you're from a nimble and engaging hot hatch which has a useful amount of practicality, it's likely that there's a Focus available for you. It's no real surprise it's this type of big seller. Third generation, 5 doors only. The third iteration of Ford Focus has been around since 2011 as being a 5-door hatchback along with the separately reviewed Estate. Gone using this generation are definitely the slower-selling 3-door hatch, the even less popular saloon and also the unfancied coupe cabriolet. It's a majorly competitive sector which the Focus competes with in virtually every manufacturer offering thoroughly competent alternatives. The Vauxhall Astra, Volkswagen Golf, as well as its Seat Leon and Skoda Octavia siblings, along with the Honda Civic, Hyundai i30, Kia Ceed, Peugeot 308 and Renault Megane are simply a few with the hatchbacks out there giving Ford a headache. Watch, we ran a Ford Focus RS for 3 months. Discover how we got on. Rarely does the blue oval rest upon its laurels. Consequently, this generation Focus has become regularly honed and superior to help maintain its appeal. Key to its appeal aren't just visual plus in terms of good value. The Focus has keen steering along with a great gear change in manual form, so keen drivers will feel as if this car continues to be designed for them. Styling and quality overhaul in 2014. A significant facelift to the Focus has been available since 2014, although not for your slow-selling electrically powered model which has a new bonnet, front wings, bumpers, the leading one incorporating a slender new grille and slimmer headlamps. At the back, LEDs feature within the reshaped lights and there's a different tailgate design. Climb inside and you'll see the cabin materials were upgraded too, with many different models featuring an 8.0-inch touchscreen presents itself the dashboard for your multimedia system Sync 2 initially, then Sync 3 from 2017. All versions taken advantage of new instruments and redesigned switchgear, giving a light uplift in quality. Further enhancements were also made to your Focus's self-parking and active safety systems. Wide array of engine options. The bewatch of powertrain choices with the Ford Focus is extraordinary, primarily of the petrols and all in the diesels featuring turbocharging for efficient performance. EcoBoost, Watch Turbo, petrols are available in 1.0 and 1.5-liter guises with the mainstream Focus range, producing between 100 horsepower and 182 horsepower. Yet with CO2 emissions of just 99 gkm for that least polluting version. Diesel fans employ a choice of 1.5 and a couple of .0-liter units, serving up between 95 horsepower and 150 horsepower and, unsurprisingly, represent by far the most efficient in the conventional power plants for that Focus. In fuel-sipping kinetic form, the 1.5C Focus incorporates a claimed average of 83.1 miles per gallon with emissions of 88 gkm of CO2. you will go even greener together with the very slow-selling Focus Electric, which simply requires charging as much as replenish its batteries, even though the maximum range is fixed to 100 miles before you must plug it in again. On the plus side, your vehicle itself is emission-free. Fast Ford Legacy, Focus Street and RS. Ford features a proud good reputation for offering high-performance versions of the regular family cars. This also generation Focus isn't different, offered both in hot street and scorching RS forms. Petrol 2.0-liter EcoBoost, 250 horsepower and diesel 2.0-liter DC, 185 horsepower versions from the Focus Street are given, each having a racier body kit and deeper front grille, with enhanced performance and handling. Those petrol versions can reach 154 miles per hour and scurry from 0-62 miles per hour in 6.5 seconds. Introduced in 2016, the Focus RS is a thing else again, offering genuine performance car slaying speed 165 miles per hour, 0-62 miles per hour in 4.7 seconds, looking at a 350 horsepower, 2.3-liter EcoBoost engine. Four-wheel drive and clever electronics keep the vehicle stable or cause it to playful, dependent upon your requirements, but as the body works suitably pumped up, it seems less outlandish than RS's of old. Ford Focus RS mount tune, could it be worth it? If you intend to add all the more performance on your fast Ford, evaluate the £899 mount tune upgrade. We tested one back-to-back which has a standard car. Watch our thoughts here. Packed with features. Ford's Focus hatchback comes that has a raft of technology to boost driver safety and ownership experience, such like a blind spot indicator, self-parking function and autonomous emergency braking. Some of these features are offered as options only, while some, determined by the trim level you ultimately choose, are standard. There are 9 trim levels available through the entry-level style that accompanies aircon but no alloy wheels through to your Performance RS flagship, together with the luxurious titanium models providing comfort for people seeking an even more premium aura. The verdict. You understand what you're getting using a Ford Focus, and unless you're searching for the absolute last word in quality, you'll not be disappointed. The choice from the range RS aside really needs to be the more powerful 1.0-liter EcoBoost, which can be frugal when driven gently and fun to push. But all models are practical, too, with roomy rear seats plus a usefully shaped, and incredibly large, boot. For additional practicality, a corner seats fold down completely flat, which can be far from usual in this particular market sector. If buying new, the ST-line version would be the one to choose, on account of generous quantities of kit and sharp looks. As a pre-owned buy, the Focus is successful, too, and for that buyer, they appear insignificantly less than the Volkswagen Golf. Overall, an exceptionally strong option, despite having been known since 2011. Is the package sufficiently good to justify its top-selling status? Ford Focus hatchback review. Petrol, diesel and electric options. Most are turbocharged for efficiency. Flagship RS is staggeringly quick. With a wide selection of 13 engine and gearbox combinations delivering the performance, in the event you can't look for a Ford Focus to suit, then you might take a trip to picky RS. Petrol, diesel and electric power plants can be purchased, while higher performance motors are installed inside the Focus Street and RS. Mainstream petrol choices. Ford's turbocharged EcoBoost engines have grabbed many headlines, and here the technology is obtainable in 1.0 and 1.5-liter forms. Kicking off proceedings could be the 3-cylinder 1.0-liter in 100 horsepower form. That's enough for just a top speed of 115 miles per hour, while 170 Nm of torque means a leisurely 062 miles per hour period of 12.5 seconds. A 5-speed manual's really the only transmission, but different gearing means two different teams of efficiency statistics. As standard, it delivers a claimed average of 61.4 miles per gallon and 105 gkm of CO2, but greater frugal alternative posts figures of 65.7 miles per gallon and 99 gkm. There's additionally a 125 horsepower addition in the 1.0-liter, the normal manual gearbox upgraded to your 6-speeder. With an accompanying torque increase to 200 Nm, the 062 miles per hour is shaved to 11 seconds, even though the top speed's 120 miles per hour, if you fancy spending extra with a 6-speed automatic gearbox, and the other can be had using this engine, creating a 119 miles per hour top speed as well as a 062 miles per hour period of 12 seconds. These 3-cylinder EcoBoosts offer impressive power for his or her size, although rivals' newer units of your similar capacity are usually less harsh. 6-speed manuals and optional automatics can be purchased on both versions in the 4-cylinder 1.5-liter EcoBoost motors. First up would be the 150 horsepower version, producing 240 Nm of torque. Performance figures for your manual can be a 130 miles per hour top speed and 8.9 seconds with the 062 miles per hour sprint. Opt for your auto and the one's numbers become 129 miles per hour and 9.2 seconds. Quickest from the 1.5s would be the 182 horsepower editions, which still produce 240 Nm of torque. Again, the manual transmission could be the quicker with the two, having a top speed of 138 miles per hour, 137 miles per hour for the automatic, plus a 062 miles per hour use of 8.6 seconds, 8.9 in automatic guise. Completing the variety of non-sporty Focus petrol engines really are a pair of 1.6-liter TVCT units, without turbocharging. Hence their meager 85 horsepower and 105 horsepower outputs. Both have 5-speed manual gearboxes. The less powerful motor produces just 141 Nm of torque, rendering it the slowest derivative in the Focus range, using a top speed of 106 miles per hour and requiring a pedestrian 14.9 seconds to succeed in 62 miles per hour at a standstill. The Goodyear version does somewhat better courtesy of the company's 115 worth of torque, but even that's only sufficient for any 116 miles per hour top speed along with a 12.3 second 062 miles per hour time. Economical diesel lineup. The Focus's diesel-fueled range starts off while using 1.5-liter TDI in 95 horsepower form. That doesn't seem to be a tremendous volume of power, nevertheless its 250 Nm of torque outguns each of the mainstream petrol engine figures, and like every one of the diesels, a 6-speed manual gearbox is standard. Top speed's just 112 miles per hour, however it'll reach 62 miles per hour from your standing come from 12 seconds. Next up is really a 105 horsepower addition on the same engine, here tuned more for economy in spite of the power and torque increase it's up by 20 Nm, hence the Econetic badges. Although it features a 116 miles per hour top speed, the 062 miles per hour time hardly drops to 11.9 seconds. However, claimed economy can be an impressive 83.1 miles per gallon, with CO2 emissions of just 88 gkm. Fleshing your top in the 1.5-liter diesel range would be the 120 horsepower version, again with 270 Nm, but that has a choice in the standard manual transmission or optional twin-clutch power shift automatic. It's a slow-witted gearbox and something we'd recommend avoiding when you can. Performance is rated at 120 miles per hour and 10.5 seconds with the 062 miles per hour with all the manual, 119 miles per hour and 10.8 seconds to the automatic. You've a choice in the same two transmissions with the 150 horsepower 2.0-liter DC, the engine's extra capacity helping ramp the torque figure as much as 370 Nm. It's a pleasingly sprightly performer that has a top speed of 130 miles per hour in manual form, plus an 8.8-second 062 miles per hour time with the manual, 129 miles per hour and 8.7 to the power shift. Electric alternative. It may possibly have escaped you, including because Ford sells so few of these, but a Focus Electric can be available. Energy is kept in a 23 kWh lithium-ion battery, enough to supply the electric a theoretical selection of up to 100 miles between recharges. Its motor produces 142 horsepower and 250 Nm of torque, enough for getting from 062 miles per hour in 11 seconds. Top speed is governed to only 84 miles per hour, sportier Focus Street versions. Enthusiasts will certainly watch the Ford Focus Street performance stats with beady eyes. What's interesting is which the 2.0-liter EcoBoost's 062 miles per hour use of 6.5 seconds isn't much slower versus the previous generation RS, that could get there in 6.0 seconds. Okay, it's half an additional off. Just be sure consider which the engine capacity within the old RS is 500cc bigger and that this RS model was meant to be the pinnacle of performance inside the Focus range. This Street certainly provides good account of itself. The engine with this model delivers 250 horsepower, maximum pulling power of 360 Nm and also the impressive 062 miles per hour time. It'll go on to your top speed of 154 miles per hour. The stats tell simply a smidgen from the story. Not only would it be fast, it feels fast. The performance is linear and smooth, however, not so refined that you simply don't have the raw brutality. The torque steer that's blinded some from the previous fast Ford models is well restrained. Once you get around third gear the scenery can have become a satisfying blur. On top of that you simply get a fantastic engine sound that is certainly very addictive. For those seeking greater frugality, the Street's available too with an upgraded 185 horsepower addition on the 2.0-liter diesel, with manual or power shift transmissions. 400 Nm of torque ensures 062 miles per hour times during 8.1 seconds with the manual and 7.7 with the automatic, while both post identical 135 miles per hour top speeds. Whether you will be satisfied through the Focus Street or will should upgrade with an RS can be a question we've answered here. Performance flagship Focus RS. It's fair to mention the performance with the Ford Focus RS is mind-bending. It relies on a turbocharged 2.3-liter, 4-cylinder EcoBoost engine through the firm's iconic Mustang, but retuned to supply 350 horsepower and 440 Nm of torque available between 2,000 revolutions per minute and 4,500 revolutions per minute. Although the torque figure swells to 470 Nm while from the 18-second overboost function upon initial acceleration. In relation to raw data that equates with a 062 miles per hour sprint in 4.7 seconds, which has a top speed of 165 miles per hour. Nothing else with this price point can match those figures. To hit 62 miles per hour you wish the Focus RS should go means with all the launch control system, that may be found within the trip computer menus by utilizing the controls for the steering wheel. It's best saved for track use really though, since it takes a bit too long to activate for most traffic light Grand Prix situations. Once you've selected launch control, it's merely a case of standing within the accelerator and releasing the clutch quickly. Once you've piled up turbo boost handily displayed on one and the 3 gauges sat higher than the Satan of screen. It sounds sensational too. On the road the electricity delivery is savage, and much better still together with the driving modes tweaked, allowing the flap inside specially tuned exhaust to look at, eliciting pops and bangs through the twin tailpipes that can't neglect to make you smile. There's a suggestion of synthesized noise. It uses precisely the same system since the Focus Street 4. In fact, there is genuine engine sound combined in there. We found the gear change for being excellent, but not as pleasing functioning as, say, a Mazda MX-5's, using a longer throw and more vague operation. However, it does the work perfectly well. There's another mount-tune package to boost the ability level, but would it be worth it? Find out here. Steering feel continues to be dulled. Overall handling still impresses. Street and RS are especially agile. The previous generation Focus was good at cornering, therefore we expected this iteration for being an improvement, but even though it is competent, it's not nearly so sharp. It appears Ford, in the bid to appeal in an even broader market, has produced this car a bit softer. On tight corners you get slightly more body lean, a bit less grip and steering that simply isn't as quick or accurate as that on its predecessor. Still, it's pretty good, and in case you do enter bends with gusto you may enjoy decent degrees of grip, but again you might find the nose pushing more in a very straight line on damp surfaces, that could require you to lift over accelerator to get the vehicle to tuck in. The Focus does feel softer. This means it's nearly on par together with the Volkswagen Golf for example, which is only as well as the latest Vauxhall Astra. It is tough to pick fault at Ford, though. Yes, the Focus does feel less of your driver's car now, nevertheless the compromises created to deliver a far more comfortable ride are probably worthwhile. ST-line models previously Zetec has get stiffer suspension that can help reduce body roll, making the vehicle feel more sporty, without overly compromising the ride quality. The main criticism with the mainstream Focus, however, is with all the steering, enhancing electronic power assistance has dulled the sense, meaning there's less feedback coming from the wheel. The rest from the controls combine to provide a positive driving experience. The brakes are great and gear change about the manual is smooth, even so the power shift auto appears to restrict the automobile's progress as an alternative to enhance it. We don't think the reply is to switch to manual mode and perform gear changes yourself for the reason that buttons are located within the gear knob, plus it doesn't feel quite right. A hard and fast paddle shift like that about the Golf's DSG versions is a better solution. Sportier Focus Street. The handling from the Ford Focus Street can be let down slightly by the electric power-assisted steering, that's best called rubbery. Still, that's probably the sole complaint so far as the Ford Focus Street's dynamics are involved. Although the steering might be low on feel, it's responsive on turn-in and is particularly well-weighted. Like the normal Focus, you obtain excellent road holding, even so the sports suspension ramps within the agility a notch. Twisty roads are in which the Street excels, managing fast and tight corners without difficulty. The body control is fantastic, with little rely on tighter corners. The 6-speed manual gearbox is smooth, the clutch satisfyingly light and also the brakes solid. There's an abundance of wizardry to actually don't create a fool of yourself about the road. The Focus Street features torque vectoring control, which sounds fancy, but this can be a system that applies brake torque on the wheels around the inside on the corner to improve grip and reduce the automobile's tendency to search straight ahead rather than turn in. The car also features cornering understeer control and other section of technical trickery which helps keep the automobile stuck for the road. In any event, this can be a difficult car to fault in terms of handling is anxious. Exhilarating Focus RS. Hold on tight. The Focus RS comes with an innovative all-wheel drive AWD system which could send approximately 70% of accessible torque towards the rear axle, and completely of that torque exclusively to just one side on the car. It uses electronic clutch packs to measure the torque extremely accurately, using the car computing the required mix in a rate of 100 times per second. It relies on a torque vectoring system in partnership with all the AWD tech, which programs the brakes to subtly tighten the Focus's line when needed, eliminating understeer top and washing wide when you've gone too rapidly into a corner and improving agility. There's a hard and fast-rated steering system installed at the same time, that offers predictable and feelsome cornering unrivaled inside sector. Watch. We drove a Ford Focus RS towards the North Coast 500 in Scotland. In its normal driving mode the RS is astonishingly grippy but relatively safe and benign. It's possible to flip to some tail-up drift king in the push of any button. In fact, you've got 3 handling modes to choose from if normal doesn't get it done for you, but 2 are strictly for track don't use anything but. The most engaging setup with the road is Sport, which switches the AWD system to an even more entertaining configuration and adds to your steering weighting. If you're out using a race circuit and want to visit fast, the track could be the setting to suit your needs. This stiffens within the dampers by way of a huge 40%, which makes them quite probably unsuitable for most UK roads anyway. Make no mistake. This is often a firm car for the best of times. Optional Quaife limited slip differential. Towards the end from the Focus RS's life, Ford started offering a mechanical limited slip differential to be a factory fit option, present as standard from the Red Blue Heritage Edition cars. If you are taking your car to normal regularly or plan to raise its power either while using Ford-approved mount-tune kit something like that more exotic, you may benefit in the additional front-end grip offered. It's also worth a look when you value the type of front-end precision you receive in a Honda Civic Type R. We've driven a Quaife-equipped car and you'll watch our thoughts within the buying new section. The infamous drift mode. Finally, there's the industry-first drift mode. Inspired by YouTube sensation Ken Block, this lets you indulge within this sort of tail-out antics usually only achievable using a rear-wheel drive performance car. It retains the traction control but backs it off into a wide slip mode, enabling you to kick the spine end out and after that maintain the slide due to fancy configuration with the AWD system. Doing so has a different technique. With a rear-driven car you retain your foot planted around the floor once the slide starts. In lieu of backing on balance the skid, the end result would be the same. You'll be laughing such as a hyena and going to the tire shop regularly. That's unless it's wet, whereby you're simply planning to have an amazing volume of fun. Hidden behind each pair of 19-inch alloys are large Brembo brakes that perform adequately. They're intended for heavy track use but aren't too aggressive to the road either, striking an excellent balance between progressive application and outright stopping force. While the outdoor styling perhaps isn't as garish as being the previous 2 RS Focuses, it's worth noting that each single part is there for the reason. The front bumper design, rear roof spoiler and diffuser relating to the exhaust pipes all help this car feel amazingly stable at top speed because they're cooperating to increase the risk for Focus perfectly balanced at either end. Dashboard improvements from 2014. Reduced button count, quality uplift. Sporty versions feel too ordinary inside. With that raft of buttons, particularly around the Ford Focus's tire, It may initially be rather puzzling but shouldn't take a long time to learn where each of the controls are. As part with the 2014 facelift, Ford reduced the switchgear count and introduced an 8-inch touchscreen for models fitted with Sync 2. It's a large improvement, however, not as classy and fuss-free being a Volkswagen Golf's cabin. Disappointingly, there's little else to generate the interiors with the Focus Street and RS feel considerably more special versus the regular versions, save for many contrasting stitching for the leather plus a trio of supplementary dials at the jaunty angle atop the center in the dash. These gauges display oil temperature, turbo boost and oil pressure, however they are small and require more than simply a cursory glance to absorb the knowledge. The front windscreen pillars are usually large, nonetheless they don't hinder visibility very much, only once you're trying to tug out at junctions with acute angles. Rear visibility is a useful one, however the door mirrors are squarer than most, but do employ a wide-angle curvature with their outer edges. Ride comfort a solid point. RS can be quite stiffly sprung, street less so. Sports seats might be snug for most. There's little to complain around the comfort on offer inside Ford Focus. The seats are supportive and cozy, that has a broad choice of adjustment and, put together with height and reach movement inside the steering column, it's easy to get a decent driving position. We might have liked just a little more lateral support to hem you in when cornering tightly, however it's not only a deal breaker. The optional sports seats help here and are definitely more comfortable, but we'd recommend actually testing the crooks to see if they can be worth the extra outlay. It's not just a cheap option. The ride is great, one from the best inside the class, and even after the couple of hours of hard driving we emerged through the car feeling very fresh without the need of niggling aches or pains. Road and engine noise are contained, but there is slightly bit of wind rustle coming on the door mirrors. Mixed results using the faster Focuses. Ford Focus Street comfort happens to be compromised from the sports suspension, nonetheless it rides surprising well, even over rutted roads. In city centers it'll cope with manhole covers without fuss, in support of the most pockmarked streets present a challenge. Yes, it's firm. You will find there are definitely more comfortable cars on the market, but this is often a high-performance fancy car that's sufficiently good for daily use. Secondly, the sports seats do a superb job of hemming you in on tight corners, and this is reassuring, offering a strong, yet pleasing volume of support on your back. If you certainly are a little around the portly side, you'll find them somewhat tight. The Focus RS's low-profile tires and stiff suspension are about to make for bumpy progress from the UK. Most owners will tolerate it for the sheer performance offered here. Just keep those toss-touch dampers out of their stiffer mode because of many British roads that's likely to create the RS an unruly animal. Watch, we drove a Ford Focus RS towards the North Coast 500 in Scotland. Discover how comfortable that it was here. We loved the conventional seats, though. They're beautifully finished and supportive, albeit sitting slightly higher up than we had arrived expecting. Less comfortable, but more supportive, would be the optional Recaro shell seats, and they've proven well liked by those who have ordered the automobile so far. Focus range includes 9 trims. Something for any budget and desire. ST Line and RS joined in 2016. There are already a few rejigs through the years, but in 2016 the Focus lineup expanded to 9 different trim levels: Style, Zetec Edition, Electric, Titanium, Titanium X, ST Line, SD2, SD3 and RS. Standard Ford Focus hatchback equipment. Style will be the starting point from the Focus hierarchy, which is decently appointed despite its low cost. It rides on 16-inch steel wheels, but additionally features electric front windows and door mirrors, a body-colored rear spoiler, remote central locking, aircon, DAB radio and Bluetooth connectivity. This may be built upon while using best-selling trim level, Zetec Edition. This used to become a sportier grade, however, these days it represents something with additional humble aspirations, hence chrome detailing for the window bases and along the grille. The exterior is also embellished with 16-inch alloy wheels, and electrically heated windscreen, side indicators that are part of the door mirrors, rear privacy glass along with an 8.0-inch Sync 3 multimedia system. Those seeking more luxurious surroundings should look at the titanium grade. It adds towards the Zetec Edition's kit roster, which has a different alloy wheel design, active city stop autonomous emergency braking, automatic lights and wipers, and auto-dimming rear view mirrors, rear parking sensors, keyless entry and begin, and dual-zone climate control. Splurge within the Titanium X and there's all the more kit offered: 17-inch alloys, self-parking function, a reversing camera, Bixenon headlamps with LED day running lights, electrically folding door mirrors, heated front seats, and electrically adjustable driver's seat, partial leather upholstery and multicolored LED ambient lighting. Equipment-wise, the electric sits somewhere just across the titanium, but together with the additions on the electric door mirror folding and LED interior lighting. Replacing the first Sword Zetec S trim in 2016, ST line was effectively a renamed trim level as opposed to a completely take within the Focus. It looks sportier, having its 17-inch gray alloy wheels, body kit and black gloss mesh grille, LED day running lights and sports suspension. The interior also enjoyed a sporty makeover with sports-style pedals, tire and gear knob. There are in reality 3 subgrades with the sporty Focus Street, although none contain the numeric part with the trim level anywhere on their own badging, turning it into tricky to express to them apart initially. After the ST1 was dropped for 2017, the ST2 was crowned the entry model. It comes with 18-inch alloy wheels, an entire specific body kit, keyless start, Recaro front seats with partial leather upholstery, the Sync 3 multimedia package, and electrically heated windscreen, LED day running lights, automatic lights and wipers and dual-zone climate control. Topping this grouping could be the ST3, gaining Bixenon headlamps, heated Recaro seats with leather upholstery, a 3-person Recaro rear seat, cruise control, a gray finish for that alloy wheels, red brake calipers, keyless entry and initiate and illuminated scuff plates. Performance and value flagship would be the RS, that is comprehensively equipped. In addition to its 4 driving modes and Tostage adaptive suspension, the RS features 19-inch alloy wheels hiding 4-piston Brembo brakes, an exclusive body kit having an aggressive frontal design and rear diffuser, automatic Bixenon headlamps and rain-sensing wipers. Inside you'll spot Sync 2, 9 Sony speakers and special RS branded detailing including for the Recaro front and back seating. Special edition RS models. In 2018, with all the Focus RS fully run out special mode, you could potentially choose from 3 final editions, named Blue Edition, Red Edition and Heritage Edition. All 3 reap the benefits of black wheels and roof, carbon fiber interior trim, privacy glass, rear parking sensors, power fold mirrors, cruise control with speed limiter, heated tire and active city stop. On top of that, you simply get a Quaife limited slip differential. We've mentioned this in sign handling section, including the special paint finish either nitrous blue, race red or deep orange from the case in the Heritage Edition. The latter also benefits coming from a dealer-fit Mountain FPM 375 kit detailed inside performance section, power sunroof and black forged alloy wheels. Optional Ford Focus hatchback accessories. Depending on which Focus you select, there certainly are a plethora of person options it is possible to pay for to tailor the Ford more in your taste, including a wide variety of metallic paints and alloy wheel upgrades, plus equipment, for example adaptive cruise control, sunroof upgrades, ingenious door edge protectors and rear privacy glass. Ford sensibly bundles various options together. A VIN Check consequently varies the price with the packages depending where trim level you're using being a starting point, as it can certainly have some in the elements as standard. Choose the convenience pack for self-parking functions, front and back parking sensors, electrically folding door mirrors and an author press lowering and raising in the electric windows. The City Pack can be an abbreviated version with the Convenience one, limited by just the trunk parking sensors and power folding door mirrors. Opt for that Driver Assistance Pack to the Active City Stop autonomous emergency braking, lane departure warning to warn you when you're drifting out with the white lines, traffic sign recognition and automatic main beam for that headlights. There are additionally a handful of specific options including race-style Recaro shell front seats and 19-inch black forged alloy wheels, but there's another worthwhile luxury pack comprising of electrically folding door mirrors, rear parking sensors, keyless entry and initiate, cruise control and rear privacy glass. Rated 5 stars by NCAP. Active City Stop reduces insurance charges. Extra surety of all-wheel drive for RS. Ford Focus safety is often a key concern for just a lot of car buyers. Along with the good news is that it is given the full 5 stars for crash protection from the independent experts, NCAP, which specializes in assessing cars' crash protection. The Focus is equipped with several crash protection features as standard, including drivers, passenger and side airbags. The inclusion of stability control and ISOFIX child seat fittings as standard is being applauded, but if aspects your priority, be able to specify the Driver Assistance Pack that also includes blind spot warning, lane keeping assist that steers you between white lines, traffic sign recognition and automatic high beam headlights. It's worth noting that Active City Stop can possess a positive effect by reducing your insurance costs. The way it massively decreases the chances of running into something or someone at lower speeds. Active Park Assist provides driver help when attempting parallel parking. It's activated with the push from the button and measures any gaps to determine if the Focus will fit into. Having found a parking space, your vehicle will then provide instructions with audio prompts and within the heads-up display. The car does the steering, leaving the motorist to control the throttle and clutch. It's not perfect, however some Ford Focus owners find this very helpful. The high-speed Focus RS comes with a couple of additional safety elements. All-wheel drive enhances traction at low speeds, in spite of the handling histrionics introduced in some of the racier driving modes, and Bixenon headlamps are included, too, for safer nighttime driving. Boot space is reasonable, not class-leading. Cabin isn't one of the most spacious. Door edge protector is invaluable. This generation Ford Focus is more than its predecessor, although it's several millimeters narrower around the outside. Extra width's been liberated from the cabin, taking into account more shoulder room, boosting the vehicle's versatility and practicality. Legroom front and back is ample, although lower roofline does hamper headroom for taller passengers about the back bench. Watch, does a Ford Focus work like a family car? We investigate here. One really useful feature is disappointingly optional. Door edge protectors take off and wrap around the outer edge on the doors, providing a rubbery shield to guard your paintwork. Invaluable should you have kids and also a narrow driveway. The boot is reasonable at 316 liters, but all the trunk seats down you'll get 1,215 liters available. It's much less good being a VW Golf 380 liters with rear seats up and 1,270 with rear seats down, or maybe a Vauxhall Astra 370 liters and 1,210 liters. Be conscious that if you decide on a Focus RS, its all-wheel drive system impinges on boot space thanks on the mechanical gubbins within the floor, reducing chance to 260 liters seat zip, 1,045 liters when folded.